Welcome to Pokemon Club. We are here to train. We are here to battle our Pokemon, but obviously I'm joking. Obviously, we are here for the same thing that we are here every single day. If you, for whatever reason, are not hanging out with us in these live streams, if you are watching these as videos later on, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. I know everybody watching this is already subscribed, but you're going to have to hit the bell if you want to be able to come out and hang out with us in these live streams. Let me go through, set up this. It's going to take me legitimately 20 seconds. Just stay right there until we get this draft board pulled up. I essentially just have to pull up the chat, and we are going to be hopping in to a Best Ball Mania 3 draft. So let's head over. Oh yeah, this is the player prop page. We're not going to do player props. We're going to head over to drafts on Underdog Fantasy, and over there on drafts, if this will load for us. Oh, dear God. We may have an issue here. 1 second. Why is Google Chrome being weird? Okay, let's load this up. There we go. Switch it over to drafts. Let's go to Best Ball Mania 3. Let's get in this. And it looks like we have 8 spots open for anybody who wants to come out with us in this draft. I know that there's a decent amount of people who have been wanting to draft with us that went out there and signed up with promo code FLOCK. Well, here's your time. Looks like we just got filled. Come on, give me something good. Give me something good. We've been drafted 104. Okay, I actually drafted 2 drafts this morning. I had one at the 101. I had one at the 102. And I think we learned some lessons. I have a strategy that I think at the 104 spot, super simple to implement. And I think it can be profitable at this time of the season. But let's see a couple names out here. We got Zach. I actually just DM'd you over there on locals. My man, I may have a task for you. If you could go through and update the stream setup you had for us last year, not everything, legitimately just the ticker at the bottom of the screen, that would be awesome. And we got Chimichanga, Jack, Kevin, Caden. Have not seen Caden out here in quite a while. Happy to see you out here, my man. Zach, Jack, Donald, Blind Luck, Poker, Raiden, Jack, Dragon Isles. Happy to see you out here. Brett Johnson. Okay, perfect. Now, we have fully loaded on the clock at the 101. And one thing, I know that this only really matters for about 1% of the people watching this live stream. Nobody watching this live stream, really just watching this as a video later on. If you were confused on how I am drafting over 200 drafts this offseason, this is best ball. You do not submit the starting lineup. At the end of every week, you are going to have the automatic best lineup submitted for you by Underdog Fantasy. There are also no waivers. That's why we draft 18 rounds here. That is going to make roster construction extremely important for you when you go through with these drafts, knowing that you are not going to have access to that waiver wire and you need to plan accordingly. Now, it's going to also allow us to go through and draft over 200 teams this offseason, and we're already closing in on about 50. If you include the drafts we did at the very beginning of the offseason, we're closing in on about 50, 60 drafts. So, we said we were going to do over 200. I think we're probably going to push that to 300. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun with this offseason. Caden says, Misty Mason, my man, I hope that you are happy watching. I believe you're a Chargers fan. Maybe I am mistaken. Maybe my memory's bad. But yeah, we're going to go Justin Jefferson at the 104 real quick if you're watching this. Honestly, I am not debating any other player. I think if you don't have access to Jonathan Taylor or Christian McCaffrey, the answer is simple. You go Kupp, Jefferson, or Chase. You grab one of the elite level wide receivers. Honestly, in some of these drafts, I'm also taking Stephon Diggs over the running backs after the Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey tier. I also have been drafting Cooper Kupp as of late at the 102 when we get that pick. Ron Whitmore says Justin Jefferson at the 104 question mark. Yeah, if you're looking at Justin Jefferson, I honestly really like going with wide receivers early here based on the running backs that are going to be available to us at the 4-5 turn. And same thing with the wide receiver position. If you're looking at the wide receivers that are going to be available to us in the second round, you're going to be looking at someone like Tyreek Hill, where at running back, we could come away with Nick Chubb, we could come away with Aaron Jones, we could get Leonard Fournette. I think the drop-off from that tier 1 of wide receiver is actually going to be further than the drop-off from someone like Austin Eckler to Aaron Jones. So that's why I'm going to be going with Justin Jefferson. I'm going to be going round 1 wide receiver in a lot of these drafts. Caden says, I'm going Eckler at the 101, LOL. Okay. I will say, I think Austin Eckler's touchdown rate's going to come down a bit, but I mean, you're looking at the offense he's in. Clearly, Los Angeles just looks like they're going to smash the season. Okay, so Daniel says, hope you didn't pay $50 for this one. No, we paid $25. The Best Ball Mania 3 is going to be a $25 buy-in. If y'all did not get to see, this is also the league. This is not a private league. This is a public league where first place gets paid, second place gets paid, but also you have the tournament at the very end where if you get first or second in your 12-team league, you qualify, and then you essentially enter a large field DFS tournament with the team that you drafted for the fantasy football playoffs, and that's where you got $2 million to first, $1 million to second, $500 to third, $200,000. You have life-changing money at the very top. So that does play into the strategy that we have here, because I will say we were going going to hopefully try to win. What my goals are, like, even if we don't win, I'm fine not winning. Our chances of winning is pretty much like a scratch-off ticket. Like, I understand we're not going to win. All I ask for us to have a sweat at the end of the season. I want to be able to pull it up in week 17, and I want us to be able to all sweat together a team that we have that's in the top 10 and just go, oh, please, Jefferson, catch that last ball. Catch it. Bring it down. I want us to have that sweat together. I think that would be a ton of fun. Okay, but yeah, Mark Andrews going at the 205. I think Mark Andrews is a fantastic pick in this range. I've been going with Mark Andrews pretty much every single time he's fallen to us in the second round. If you missed the draft we did yesterday we had a draft where we actually got Derrick Henry at the 109, and then we had Joe Mixon, or no, we didn't have Joe Mixon. We had Dalvin Cook fall to us at the 204. So we started with Henry, Dalvin, and then Kyle Pitts. It was pretty nice. Okay. So let's pull up this draft room. Okay, so we started Jefferson. Yeah, Mike Evans going at the 207. Aaron Jones goes here. I'm going to be boring. I know people aren't going to like it, but I promise you, I think this is the way we need to go. Based on all the drafts that I have done, I am feeling so comfortable when we are taking these wide receivers early. Like, just please wait until we get to the 10th round. Once we're in the 10th round, if you still don't agree with this, I understand. Maybe you don't necessarily see the path to having that elite level ceiling, but give me until the 10th round. We're going to go with Tyreek Hill here at the 209. We have a play. Corey says Cooper Kupp over every single receiver ever. Man, I agree with you. Yeah, we have Cooper Kupp as our wide receiver 1, but Cooper Kupp didn't fall to us, so we're getting Jefferson here instead. Kyle Pitts ends up going at the 301 alongside Keenan Allen. Very interesting. Let's pull this back up. Debo goes T. Higgins at the 302. Let's see where Zach ends up going. We're going to get either A.J. Brown or we'll see. I bet we are probably going to end up with A.J. Brown with this pick. It is what it is. I'm not sweating it, though. Zach took Cooper Kupp in the first and Javonte Williams in the second. Dylan says 100 likes for 2 drafts, question mark. My man, I can't do that. I can't do that. Okay, so Jaylen Waddle goes to the 303 to Zach. It would have been interesting to take Jaylen Waddle in the same team as Tyreek Hill, even though Waddle would have been a worse option overall than someone like Nick Chubb. But just to go through and try to build that unique combination with the double stack that not many people are going to have for that tournament at the very end, we will go Nick Chubb here. My initial plan wasn't to grab a running back. My initial plan was to go ahead and kind of wait as long as we could and potentially grab someone like A.J. Brown falling to us in the third. But at the same time, Nick Chubb is an ADP of pick 22, and that's right next to Tyreek Hill's ADP. So very rarely are you going to get the combination of both of those players on your same team unless you're picking right at the turn, either the 101 or the 102. So speaking of trying to build those unique combinations, we're going to go Tyreek Hill and Nick Chubb. And let's see, someone asking 100 likes for a second draft. Oh, my man, we've been getting so many drafts going. I don't know if my voice can handle it. I legitimately don't. Y'all know how much I stream. Y'all know how much I record. How about this? If we usually we've been doing 200 likes for a second draft and we've been crushing it. There are not even this many people in the live stream right now. We've only had 250 views on this live stream. But if we get to 250 likes by the time this first draft is over, I'll get a second one going. And I'm saying that because I don't think we're going to get 250 likes, and I don't necessarily think my voice can handle it. But real quick, if you have not done so, Zach gets Josh Allen at the 309 to pair with Stephon Diggs. Zach is, I guarantee I guarantee you right now, he's jumping up and down with joy. At least I would be spinning around like a madman right now if you got Josh Allen at the end of the third to stack with Stephon Diggs. Oh, that is beautiful. I could not be more jealous than I am. That is fantastic. But going back to fixing your life, please, if you are bored right now, if you are ever bored, if you just want to have some fun, go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Go use promo code FLOCK. You'll support this channel. More importantly, you will have fun. That's what matters most. And when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy with the link in the description or the link in the live chat or the link in the comment section, and you use promo code FLOCK, you can draft with us on live streams. You can go draft in the public lobby. You can go make private drafts, draft with your friends. And when you use promo code FLOCK, they will match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. You'll get our 2022 rankings, our dynasty rankings, our rookie draft guide, over 130 pages, legitimately with just a $10 deposit. You'll get all that. That's way more valuable, and you'll have some fun. God, it's the most important part. And here you have James Conner falling to this 4th round. No soup for you in an interesting spot where they go through and they have 3 running backs to start it off and Travis Kelce. So they've gone with a total of 0 wide receivers through the first 4 rounds. If you were new to best ball, and I know most people here aren't, you know that's a dangerous recipe. Now, if you could pull it off, that's great. Derek coming out says underdog equals fun. Happy to see you out here, my man Derek. And yeah, that's the main reason. That's the main reason we're doing these every single night, I promise you. My girlfriend may not like that we live stream every single day, even though I said we weren't going to be doing these outside of the football year, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You have to do what makes you have some fun. And that's live streaming these drafts. And I'm doing these drafts not on the live stream as well, and I need to stop. I legitimately, if I'm doing these drafts on the live stream, I can at least tell myself, oh, Mason, you can fire up as many $25 drafts as you want. I mean, it's work. It's your job. You're doing it on live stream. What I need to stop doing is I need to stop drafting these just at the gym, just in my living room when I'm supposed to be recording videos. And here we're going to take Darren Waller. I don't necessarily think Darren Waller's a massive value, because the issue here with Darren Waller is you do have Davante Adams coming over. Davante Adams will soak up a significant target share in Las Vegas, which I am worried about. But with Darren Waller, taking him is going to allow us to only have to roster 2 tight ends. Now, if we pass up on Darren Waller, if we pass up on George Kittle, I think after you get past the top 5 tight ends, and even if you go with the Dallas Goedert and a Dalton Schultz, I think in a lot of these drafts, you should be drafting a 3rd, and that's going to keep you from getting to 8 wide receivers, depending on how many running backs you want to take. So I think drafting Darren Waller here and grabbing one of those top 5 tight ends is going to give us a roster construction advantage. Even if I think a couple of the players like Chris Godwin or someone in that nature may in a vacuum be worth more than Darren Waller, you have to consider what you are also getting with that roster construction advantage. Okay, fully loaded ends up getting Justin Herbert going at the 412 and then takes Travis Etienne. This is very interesting. I know Travis Etienne looks like a reacher at the 501, but please keep in mind, you have to think about that tournament at the very end. And here with Travis Etienne, he almost exclusively goes at the 5-6 turn. I really have never seen him go at the 501, the 502, the 411, or the 412. So if you were to have that Etienne breakout and Jonathan Taylor repeats as running back 1, you're going to be able to make it to the tournament and have not too many teams competing for you either. Okay, so now we are on the clock. I've been taking Chris Godwin a ton in this range. Like, Godwin is my go-to. I was planning on taking Chris Godwin, but where I'm taking Chris Godwin more is going to be when we are having him as our 4th wide receiver, or if we're going to be having him as our 5th wide receiver. I know that's crazy to say, but we've drafted a lot of teams where we go 4 wide receivers straight. We go 5 wide receivers straight. And there I'm willing to add on Chris Godwin for the elite ceiling that he has at the end of the season. But knowing that you could potentially miss a month of play in the best ball format is going to be really bad if you're taking him as one of your top wide receivers. So instead, we are going to go Terry McLaurin at the 504. And here you have Patty Mag going and taking Joe Burrow. Let me speak on this a little bit. Now, you have to understand why they're taking Joe Burrow here. They took Jamar Chase in the 1st. So they're going out of their way. They're making sure that they come through and they stack Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. I will say, this is bad though. In my opinion, it's going to be bad to reach for your stacks because you're bleeding value immediately, right? We can all agree with that. Once you take Joe Burrow over Chris Godwin, you are bleeding some value here. And on top of this, you have to understand that we are in that large field tournament at the end of the season if you make it past this round. And if Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase go off, while yes, that's going to be great for you in this 12-team league, once you get to the tournament at the very end, you're going to be going up against a lot of teams that got Joe Burrow in the 6th round, that got Joe Burrow in the 7th round. So while you do want to be going after your stacks, you cannot be reaching multiple rounds. You can't be taking Joe Burrow over Kyler Murray, because all of a sudden what's going to happen is you're going to be just outgunned by the teams that got those stacks at a value later on. Okay. So please make sure you're not going out there and reaching for your stacks. Nobody likes stacking more than I do. We've been talking about stacking for years now. Nobody likes it more than we do, but reaching on it's pretty damn bad. Okay, so let's see what Zach has done since he got the stack here with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. He goes Metcalf in the 4th. I honestly like it. Antonio Gibson at the end of the 5th. Darnell Mooney in the 6th. Zach, in my opinion, has the best team here. I think that it's not necessarily like he's a genius for this team. I'm not trying to insult Zach by any means, but I'm saying this kind of has to happen for you. This is why we're drafting so many teams where you can go and get that luck on your side. Get Josh Allen at the 309 when he has an ADP instead of going closer to pick 27. So Zach obviously took advantage, but at the same time, he had the draft board fall in his way. I would have been interested in going with, instead of, I believe he took Darnell Mooney, I probably would have just gone and taken Gabriel Davis if we had Josh Allen instead. Okay, so here I think we have an easy selection. We're going to go wide receiver. Here you are going to have the wide receiver tier fall off happen after the beginning of round 7. This is what we've been doing consistently. I know some people are probably not comfortable only having one running back through the first 6 or 7 rounds. Y'all should have seen some of the teams we were drafting this morning. And real quick, if y'all have not done so already, please go down there, drop a like on this live stream. But this live stream gets to 250 likes by the time we get through this draft. We'll get a second one going. AJ Dillon goes at the 6'10 to the other Zach in the live stream. Treylon Burks at the 6'11. I'm assuming that Fully Loaded has no option but to go with the wide receiver here based on how he's taken his draft so far. And on top of it, the tiers. Wide receivers are the best value at this point of the draft. Okay. So Tom Brady at the 702. Yeah, we're probably going to go with another receiver. I'm not a massive fan of Elijah Moore. I'm not a massive fan of Devontae Smith. But when we're looking at this team, we took Darren Waller here. So we're only going to have to take one more tight end a little bit later on. Looking at the best available quarterback, you have Dak Prescott. We don't have a stack with Dak Prescott currently. So if we're looking at running back, Miles Sanders, or are we going to take Elijah Moore? We're going to go Elijah Moore based on the running backs that would be available to us later on. And I'm telling you, you are going to get that tier drop off at wide receiver very, very soon. This is almost exactly how I planned the draft. We planned this draft pretty much to a T. The only difference I said that I would probably assume we are going to have in the majority of these drafts is you're not going to get Darren Waller falling to you at the 409. And what we would have done instead is we probably would have just gone ahead and taken someone like David Montgomery, but then still taken these wide receivers right afterwards. I'm going to just slam receiver, slam receiver, slam receiver in a best ball format, really with no hesitation at all. Okay, so Sky Moore right after us, Devonta Smith at the 707. Okay, so Mindtrix asked how the team's looking. Let's go through and let's pull up Mindtrix team real quick. He took Najee Harris in the 1st. Completely fine with it. He has a higher ADP than Stephon Diggs. Sometimes I'm taking Diggs instead, but I understand. Love the value of Mark Andrews in the 2nd. Really like Deontay Johnson in the 3rd. He would have been my favorite wide receiver out of these players available. Lamar Jackson in the 4th. This is very similar to what I was speaking on with Joe Burrow, where yes, I really like getting the stack with Mark Andrews. You do have to look at it as the fact, though, that some other teams in this tournament are going to be able to get Lamar Jackson in the 5th. But you actually got J.K. Dobbins as well. So if Dobbins has an ADP in the 5th with Lamar Jackson, I actually really like this then. So yeah, you kind of reach on Lamar Jackson a little, but you're getting a double stack of this Baltimore Ravens offense that not many people are going to have. You have Gabriel Davis as the value falling in ADP in the 6th, Miles Sanders in the 7th. I really like it. I probably would have gone receiver over Miles Sanders, but that's just my personal preference. I really like that team. I was hesitant to say I like the Lamar Jackson pick at 1st and the 4th until we saw what you got in the 5th, because you weren't getting J.K. Dobbins in the 6th round whatsoever. Okay. Zach says, why do you got to take Ayuk from me like that, brother? Okay, so Dalton Schultz at the 710, Dak at the 711. I've done this in a few drafts where I get on the clock here at the end of the 7th round and you are in no man's land. Like, look at these names. You have Dalton Schultz, Hal Lockett, Christian Kirk. Like, this is why we wanted to go with an Elijah Moore, because we know that the wide receiver tier is going to fall off probably by the time we get through this pick 100. But anyway, you are in no man's land. So I've been taking like Dalton Schultz here at the end of the 7th and hoping that Dak Prescott makes it back around so we can get that stack with Schultz and Prescott at a value. Seems like I've tried that 2 or 3 times just because nothing else really seems to work in that range. But I will admit, every single time we tried it and we've taken Dalton Schultz, Dak Prescott's going right after, so we haven't been able to get him. Caden says, Yo Mason, just signed up for locals. Can't wait to draft with the flock again. I've been super busy with Dynasty. Thank you, my man, for being a part of the flock. Of course, I appreciate it. I'm happy to see you out in the live stream again. And Dawson Knox at the 804. Yeah, Dawson Knox to Zach, who has Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. And if you're looking at Dawson Knox and his ADP, this may be a slight reach. Like, Dawson Knox is making it to the end of the 8, but you're not getting Dawson Knox coming back around for you. Okay, so now we are on the clock in 1 pick. This is what we were speaking on the wide receiver tier really falling off. This is why we are going with Elijah Moore. Quarterbacks in this range, Matthew Stafford. I'm personally not going to be going with Matthew Stafford, as if you're looking at Stafford. I mean, I think that you're really probably only taking him here when you had Cooper Kupp instead. We took Justin Jefferson. So we will go ahead and take Cordell Patterson. I think with Cordell Patterson, this is a running back that's perfect for best ball, and that you never really know whenever his spike weeks are going to occur, but you know he's going to have a role in the receiving game. You know he's probably going to be the starting running back there as well. So we're just locking in guaranteed running back touches for our running back 2 position. ADP of 85, getting him at pick 93. Matthew Stafford, Russell Gage going directly after. Yeah, so you kind of assumed that you were going to get Matthew Stafford going to the Cooper Kupp team. That's why Matthew Stafford's ADP is right there, because so many Cooper Kupp owners are drafting him. And I don't know what we're going to do after this. There are really 2 players that I have my eyes on. So if we're looking at stacks, I'm not going to be reaching on Derek Carr here. I understand some people would make the argument for Carr. I found that I am more than comfortable passing on the quarterback position, knowing that we can get 3 guys at an insane value later on if we don't get one of our guys falling to us. So we're probably just going to go ahead and I don't want to say anything until Zach picks. Okay, we're probably going to go ahead and get Damian Harris. Yeah, he goes Jameson Williams. So let's go Damian Harris as our running back 3. I'm not a big fan of Harris because he has absolutely no role in the receiving game, but I'm going to be a little hesitant to reach on Kareem Hunt whenever we have Nick Chubb on this same roster. So if we're taking Nick Chubb, we're kind of making the bet that Nick Chubb stays healthy all season, and that probably hinders Kareem Hunt's value. So we're going to go ahead and take Damian Harris here. Not my favorite selection, but he is falling to pick 100. He does have week-to-week touchdown upside, even if I do think his touchdown rate is going to fall this upcoming season. Hell, we're fine grabbing him as a running back 3. So to recap our draft so far, wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Brandon Cooks, Elijah Moore. Running back, Nick Chubb, Cordell Patterson, Damian Harris. And then at tight end, we do have an elite option with Darren Waller. Darren Waller, not as exciting as last year because you do have the addition of Devontae Adams, but still, it is fine. Chris Olave goes to the 907. I was considering Olave. I was thinking maybe we try to get a little cute with it, but if we had the value falling to us at running back with Damian Harris, we're going to take it. And also, if we get 2 more running backs coming up in like rounds 10, 11, or 11 and 12, or 10 and 12. It's just going to depend on how the board falls. We could potentially stop at drafting 5 running backs instead of going to 6, which would give us the ability to pick up an extra wide receiver, and we may have to draft 3 quarterbacks on this team. Okay. So, Devin Singletary, James Cook. Now, I will say this, and I've done this same thing as Zach. I don't know if it's right or wrong. Based on an article that you had Hayden Winks put out for Underdog, I think there's a chance that we may end up having to limit the amount of players that you can draft to one team. I think going through and say taking a double stack, getting a quarterback and 2 of his pass catchers, or getting a quarterback and a pass catching running back and then a receiver, or getting a tight end and a receiver as well. I think that is good, But the issue is once you get to that tournament setting, you need such a high ceiling. You need such a high ceiling that you need to have those concentrated stacks between 1 to 2 players on that offense outside of the quarterback position. And then from there, you have to have a lot of one-offs. So I've done the same thing as Zach here, where I have gotten Josh Allen falling to us in the 3rd round, taking Stephon Diggs. This happened in a live stream probably about 2 weeks ago. And I think we did go through, we took a Buffalo Bills running back. I think we also took someone like Dawson Knox. I think we need to be limiting ourselves to drafting 3 players from a single offense on every team. I think we go through and we try to get 3 players from that offense. Like if Kirk Cousins falls to us here, we're probably going to take Kirk Cousins. And if we get KJ Osborne at a good price, I'd be happy to have Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, and KJ Osborne. But I think we do have to have some one-offs to make sure that we do have the highest potential possible with our lineups in weeks 15, 16, and 17. Okay. So Chase Edmonds goes to the 10:06. Dragon Isles has taken 2 running backs, 6 receivers, and a tight end. He's yet to go quarterback. See if he goes. Yeah, he goes Kirk Cousins. I'm kind of fine with it. Obviously, we would have preferred Kirk Cousins making it to us, given the fact that we took Justin Jefferson. We don't have a quarterback ourselves, but it is what it is. If we don't get our quarterbacks falling, I am never really going to be reaching for a quarterback on Underdog Fantasy. We're going to continue to take value. We're going to get Melvin Gordon as our running back 4. Yet again, another running back that does have a weekly floor, and that's going to be very valuable in best ball, but does also have the ceiling if something were to occur to Javonte Williams. Very similar to Damian Harris. Damian Harris probably has a pretty high floor and a higher ceiling if something happens to Ramondre Stevenson. Cordell Patterson, I mean, from a best ball perspective, he does have the high ceiling just based on the long touchdowns that he can have. So I'm fine with Melvin Gordon at the end of the 10th. We're not going to overthink it. Now, we can go with the wide receiver here. We've caught up. We have 4 running backs, 5 receivers in the tight end. Running back position, Chubb, Patterson, Harris, and Melgo. Wide receiver, Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Brandon Cooks, and Elijah Moore. Okay, so Alexander Madison goes to the 10-12. I don't even know where we would go. Rondale Moore goes at the 11:01. Rondale Moore would have been my pick if he made it back to us. I don't really want to go with one of these tight ends here. I really like the tight ends that usually make it back to us at the next turn. Like if we're looking at the running backs that are going to make it back, we don't even know if you're going to have Michael Carter, Isaiah Spiller. Yeah, I'm a lot more comfortable with those tight ends making it back to us on the way. I know some people are going to say to reach on Tua here when we have Tyreek Hill. I'm not too worried about it. We're going to get quarterback values later on. Like we're going to draft 3 QBs on this team. We're already pot committed. Let's go ahead and take Ramondre Stevenson. If we take Ramondre Stevenson here, I think we're done at 5 running backs. We're done at 5 running backs. I typically don't like handcuffing RBs, but we can just walk through this scenario, this what if. What if Damian Harris were to go down at the beginning of the season with a high ankle sprain? Ramondre Stevenson carries us through the regular season. Damian Harris comes back in week 13 to prepare for the fantasy football playoffs. Then Damian Harris is back for the playoffs and nobody else has him in that playoff tournament. Or vice versa. In that setting, I think we are fine to go with Ramondre Stevenson on the same team that we do have Damian Harris. This should be one of the most run-heavy offenses in the entire NFL. The wide receivers in this range are kind of whatever, even though we should pivot back and start drafting receivers soon. So yeah, I'm fine with Stevenson. Not that excited about it. But considering the fact that we went through, and if you look at this draft, we had 1 running back through the first 7 rounds. I think our running back core has a pretty decent floor and ceiling combination at this point. Okay. Dragon Isle says, what do you think of my draft? The only thing I messed up grabbing Derrick Henry over Stephon Diggs. Okay, so let's go through and let's check out Dragon Isle's draft. This is going to be from the 106. Okay, so goes with the hero running back build, takes Derrick Henry at the 106, Evans at the 207. A.J. Brown falls all the way to the 306. This is significantly behind his ADP. Really like the Brown selection. Really like the Chris Godwin selection. And DeAndre Hopkins, this is the perfect example of going out and getting wide receivers that are going to miss the beginning of the season, but on a team where you are loaded up with wide receiver talent. So if you're taking Hopkins as your wide receiver 5, that's where I want him, really. Like, I want to take him on wide receiver heavy builds where we can really just cover his lack of production at the beginning of the season. Hope that he has the elite ceiling down the road. Hawkinson, I'm interested to know if Hawkinson this year fits in the criteria of a tight end that you can take and only have to build around one. Kareem Hunt, the perfect second running back for this build. Yeah, great team. I don't necessarily understand the Kirk Cousins pick. I think Kirk Cousins is kind of near the end of this tier. Like, I think Watson's probably the last guy in this tier where once they're off the board, I'm saying, you know what? I'm passing. We're just going to pass. We're just going to hang out. We're just going to chill. Okay, we are currently about 100 likes away from 250. So if we get 100 likes in this live stream, we will get another draft going after this one. If not, don't worry. We'll have another draft tomorrow. We are going to be drafting a ton. Just make sure you go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK when you sign up for that 100% deposit match and to get in a live stream with us just all off season. Have some fun. Okay. So Zach on the clock has Allen Watson at quarterback, 2 running backs with Antonio Gibson and James Cook. Thank God we took Ramondre Stevenson and we got running backs where we did, because look at best available according to ADP right now. James Robinson, Nyheim Hines, the top 2 guys. Compared to these tight ends, this is why I wanted to wait on the tight end position. Look at this value you're getting with Robert Tonyan, with Albert O, with Irv Smith Jr. Can y'all believe me when I say that I do these constantly? I am addicted to these drafts. I kind of know what range that we like the tight end position. I know what range we can get away with waiting on quarterback. Okay, so Adam on the clock here. They go Robert Tonyan. Was that? Yeah, that was their first tight end. I do like that selection. Okay, so Irv Smith Jr. This team here lacks wide receiver. Chase, London, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney. They go Cole Kmet. So yeah, this is very similar to what we were speaking on with the quarterback position as well. Last time, yeah, we needed a quarterback. We weren't going to reach on Tua Tagovailoa just to get the Tyreek Hill stack. We feel comfortable waiting and being able to get quarterback, value later on, especially when most teams in the league have 2 to 3 quarterbacks as is. So we are going to get Tua Tagovailoa at pick 141, 11 picks behind his ADP to stack up with Tyreek Hill. Okay, Albert O goes. So it looks like we may not get a tight end making it back to us in this range. Completely fine with it. Hell, look at this team. We already have Darren Waller. So we are fine with not getting a tight end in this range. If Hunter Henry makes it back, maybe we'll take Hunter Henry. I'm also fine with the wide receivers like Crowder, Pickens, Jefferson. I'm fine with Justin Fields. I'm sitting back relaxing. Y'all do you. You do whatever you want. We're going to be able to get some value here at the 1304. I think we killed this draft. If you look at some of the first drafts that we did in Best Ball Mania about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I felt like we weren't nearly as comfortable and we were so sporadic all around the board. I think we can just sit back and let it fall to us. Jameson Crowder, Trevor Lawrence go at the 12-13 turn. Is Trevor Lawrence selection, did they have anybody in Jacksonville? Or is Trevor Lawrence just going ahead of Justin Fields now? They had Travis Etienne. I guess maybe they can make the argument for that. My issue is if we were to take Justin Fields here, he has a value according to his ADP. I am unsure if we can get away with taking Justin Fields and then not taking another quarterback. I think we possibly have to draft 3 regardless. What we could end up doing is we could end up taking a quarterback in round 18 where it's not necessarily going to matter too much. So let's go ahead and take Justin Fields. We don't have a stack, but with Fields, this is a quarterback that does have a rushing upside at the same time. We're getting him at pick 148 when his ADP is pick 133. It is what it is. Don't like the situation in Chicago. Y'all know nobody's a bigger Justin Fields hater, or at least last year, nobody was a bigger Justin Fields hater than I was. But if you're going to be getting him here when he does have rushing upside in the 13th round, 20 picks behind his ADP, hell, I'm fine with it. Okay. So Hunter Henry ends up going at the 1307. So yeah, we didn't get a tight end value, but I'm not crying about it because we had quarterback value making it to us. Let me know what y'all are thinking of those 2 selections. I think Tua Tagovailoa is the easiest pick we would ever make in that range. Justin Fields, maybe you can make the argument that we should have gone with George Pickens or we should have gone with James Robinson instead. David Bell goes at the 1308. Really like the David Bell selection. I'm imagining that Zachary probably would have gone David Bell to stack up with Deshaun Watson if he would have had the option, but he also really needed a running back. He goes Nyheim Hines at the 1309. Caden says, Tua, turn the ball over. Yeah, I don't think Tua Tagovailoa is a good quarterback, but at the end of the day, if we're getting him behind his ADP on a team where we took Tyreek Hill, it's all about if you're drafting 250 teams, take value where it falls and where it fits the roster, more importantly. Jameis Winston goes to the 13-12. Probably good for us to see quarterbacks fall. I mean, quarterbacks go off the board at this point. Because while I do think we can take a third, I think that third that we take is probably not going to be until like the 17th or 18th round, unless we get a ridiculous value. And I'm not wanting to have another ADP fall like 20 picks, another quarterback fall by 20 picks at his ADP, forcing us to take him. Like, I don't want Zach Wilson to be available to us at pick 165. If it happens, we'll reevaluate. But it's not something I'm rooting for, even though we do have Elijah Moore. And a wide receiver, while we only have 5 on this team, keep in mind the 5 we have: Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Brandon Cooks, and Elijah Moore. And we have enough running back security that I think these running backs can also slide into our flex spots. Okay, so Kenneth Gainwell goes to the 14-04. Really like the Kenneth Gainwell selection. I think we're probably done taking running backs, especially if we want to grab 3 QBs. And we don't have strong wide receiver 6, 7, 8. So we're probably going to end up having to attack the wide receiver position with quantity. Mind Tricks on the clock has Lamar QB as a standalone guy. Let's see. They go Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce at pick 161, just 2 picks ahead as ADP. Odell Beckham Jr. here at pick 162. Odell Beckham Jr. like never goes at his ADP. It's either way before or way after. We are going Corey Davis here. Actually, can we go Corey Davis? Yeah, we're going to go Corey Davis. These tight ends, the gap between David Njoku, Noah Fant, Gerald Everett, Logan Thomas, the gap between those guys isn't massive for me. Even though these teams here have a ton of wide receivers, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't take any. I wouldn't be surprised if they just go through and take all 3 of these tight ends. They really can only take those 3 tight ends, and we're still getting Logan Thomas. Worst case scenario. Like a lot of times you're going to see running backs go off the board here as well, where we don't really have to worry about it. KJ Hamler goes to the 14-11. We do have Corey Davis stacked up with Elijah Moore, so maybe this is a team where we're betting that Garrett Wilson goes down, but it's not too much of a worry of ours. I think we just need to focus in on continuing to soak up value. Keel Herbert goes to the 14-12. Pretty good for us. Like I said, I think we're done at running back. Lil Colonel says opinions on Justin Fields, a 2023 first, probably a top 3 pick, and a 2023 third for Elijah Mitchell, Calvin Ridley, Juju Smith-Schuster, Jahan Dotson, and the tight end premium superflex. You take Justin Fields in the top 3 2023 first. And a 12-team superflex format, I mean, Justin Fields is going to be more valuable himself than the combination of Elijah Mitchell, Juju Smith-Schuster, and probably Jahan Dotson, even if we don't want to say that. If he is just more valuable than Elijah Mitchell and Juju Smith-Schuster, still at the end of the day, the 2023 first-round picks more valuable than the combination Jahan Dotson and Ridley if we're talking about a top 3 selection in a 12-team PPR superflex format. So yeah, we're going to be going with Justin Fields in the pick. Okay, so Gus Edwards goes. I think we just take a tight end. It's really easy. One thing that you need to make sure, I never really talk about buys here, and we've made this mistake too many times in the past where we're not making it this year. Do not take 2 tight ends on the same buy. Do not take 2 quarterbacks on the same buy if you were only drafting 2 of the position. So we're going to go David Njoku, pick 172, as our second tight end alongside Darren Waller. I don't know the right answer. I don't know if we should draft one more tight end. I think we probably have, so we have 3 rounds left. I think we need 2 more receivers. Right now we're sitting with 6, and we have 5 very strong wide receivers. I think we need 2 more receivers, and then dependent on the value, either quarterback or tight end. So Matt Ryan at the 1507. Andrew says, thoughts on my team. Adam 2, reached on Michael Pittman, but happy beyond that. Okay, so let's go through and let's check this out. Okay, this is going to be the team from the 107. And of course, if you're ever in one of these drafts with me and you want me to talk about it, of course, I'm talking out of my ass here. I'm an idiot, but I'd be happy to go through and look at it. We have Eckler in the first. I think this is right next to Eckler's ADP. Not too much to discuss. Same thing with DeAndre Swift. It's just interesting where I do think you get that tier drop off at the wide receiver position almost immediately after the end of this Jaylen Waddle, AJ Brown tier. I personally prefer Deontay Johnson. It is what it is. I do really like the value on DJ Moore in the 4th. Kyler Murray in the 5th. I'm not a big Kyler in the 5th fan, just based on some of the other quarterback values that you're getting a little bit later on in these drafts. Like you had been able to take, say, Dak Prescott in the 7th. So would you have rather had the combination of saying, actually, you had Godwin off the board already. So I guess you were kind of in no man's land with Kyler Murray at the 507. Elijah Mitchell at the 606. I think this is a massive mistake. When you already have 2 running backs, I think this is the one mistake we can say there's in the draft. You have to take Hopkins here. You have to take Hopkins, stack him with Kyler Murray, especially when you need wide receiver help. Like, would you prefer the combination of DeAndre Hopkins and Miles Sanders or Devonta Smith and Elijah Mitchell? I probably would prefer Hopkins and Miles Sanders on a team where we have Kyler. Garrett Wilson at the 806. Chris Olave at the 907. Edmonds, Rashad White. Yeah, here you just have to hammer wide receivers through. You took 5 running backs through the first 11 rounds, so please just know you're capped at running back. You can't continue to take RBs. Okay. So Jamal Williams goes, and I'm not trying to say no, don't take running backs. I need running backs. Follow me. I'm done taking running backs myself. Okay, Abby says, if this stream gets 300 likes, Mason has to do the next stream in a t-shirt. Yeah, if this stream gets 250 likes, I will go through and I'll stream another draft after this. If this stream gets 300 likes, well, we'll go throw a t-shirt on for it as well. But we only have like 1,200 views in this live stream. There's no way we're getting to 300 likes. Okay, so now we are about to be on the clock. This is what I'm talking about, not worrying about quarterback value, making it to us. Like, you're about to get Ryan Tannehill coming into pick 189. If we were to select him, I'm probably not even taking Tannehill here. That's 14 picks behind his ADP. These quarterbacks never go their ADP. These quarterback 3s always go way after. Okay. So I think... Okay, the teams after us, quarterback, Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, I think they're done. Tom Brady, Trey Lance, Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. I'd imagine all those teams are done at the quarterback position. Let's go ahead and take a wide receiver. I don't care what ADP says. We're going to go Donovan Peoples-Jones. Donovan Peoples-Jones is the thumbnail of this video. I think that's a good sign for a best ball format. You know he has access to the spike weeks, especially with the bump up in quarterback play that we are going to be getting from Mr. Deshaun Watson. This could be viewed as the Deshaun Watson team. We have Nick Chubb, we have Donovan Peoples-Jones, and we have David Njoku. Okay, Jared Goff goes. Interested to see you take Jared Goff when you took 2 quarterbacks in the top 100 picks. That's personally something I probably wouldn't do, but I don't know the right answer there. So fully loaded on the clock. 4 running backs. Their 4 running backs are Taylor, Etienne, Madison, and Keel Herbert. I'd imagine they go another running. I feel like J.D. McKissic would be perfect for him. They go Donta Foreman. Interesting. So we were right about a running back, wrong about which one it was. Debo on the clock. They have more guaranteed touches at the running back position. They have CMC, Leonard Fournette, David Montgomery, Ronald Jones. I think very similar. They can't go with another quarterback. They drafted 2 in the top 100 picks. Zach 100% can't go with another quarterback here. So we are going to get Ryan Tannehill, pick 196, ADP 175. We're going to be bringing him into a quarterback room with Tua Tagovailoa, with Justin Fields, hoping that we have some quarterback spike weeks. So it looks like we are going to be capped at 2 tight ends. Really, in this format, you can't go out of your way and draft both 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends. I think that would just be devastating to the upside that you could have on the roster at the wide receiver position in particular. So let's go ahead and let's take Tua Tagovailoa. Show off the entire draft board for people just now coming in here. We drafted at the 104. We have Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Terry McLaurin, Brandon Cooks, Elijah Moore at the wide receiver position, with Corey Davis and Donovan Peoples-Jones as some long shot dart throws. Then at running back, we have Nick Chubb, Cordell Patterson, Damian Harris, Melvin Gordon, Ramondre Stevenson. There's a lot of guaranteed touches. We have the elite tight end with Darren Waller, David Njoku, hopefully providing us some spike weeks. And then quarterback, Tua with the stack. Justin Fields falling about 20 picks behind ADP, and Ryan Tannehill falling about 20 picks behind his ADP as well. We're going to draft one more wide receiver in this league, like I said. We're probably going to go ahead and try to get a long shot stack with one of our quarterbacks. So we have the possibility of Cedric Wilson with Tua Tagovailoa. We can go Byron Pringle with Justin Fields or Velus Jones, whatever the hell his name is. A horrible second round pick. The man's 25 years old, only drafted because of his speed. Or with the Tennessee Titans. I don't even know who I'd feel comfortable projecting the wide receiver 3 to be on the Tennessee Titans. Right now, please spam the chat. Is what I need. Spam the chat with who you think the wide receiver 3 is for the Tennessee Titans. If I go through and search this up, right now, the wide receiver 3 is supposed to be Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Let me know if y'all agree with that. Because I probably don't. Slide this down. Amari Rogers, the 18. I really like the Amari Rogers selection as someone that's not being picked in too many of these. Okay, so a lot of people claiming it's Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. What is the contract situation for Nick Westbrook-Ikhine? He's a player that I've yet to take in one of these drafts. He's not being drafted in many of them. Okay, so he signed a contract for less than $1 million, $800,000. Obviously, to myself and everybody in this live stream, yes, I'd be willing to sign an $800,000 contract in a heartbeat. But for a wide receiver in the NFL, that's nothing. I think this is why I'm never worried about getting boxed out of the quarterback position, because you always have the fallback option where you can just go through and you can take 3 of them and you can get Davis Mills, Carson Wentz in the last round. Like, it's ridiculous, but it's something that always happens. Okay. So let's just go Byron Pringle. Let's just get the stack with Justin Fields. I don't think we have any other Chicago Bears players. Yeah. We'll bring in Byron Pringle. Or spam the chat. Do y'all want Pringle or Velus Jones? Spam it right now. Spam the chat right now. Byron Pringle or Velus Jones. Okay. Oh, god dang. Okay. First name I saw was Byron Pringle. We're going, too many people saying Byron Pringle. We just got Byron Pringle in the 18th pick, 213. Okay. Looks like we did not get 250 likes in this live stream, so probably not going to get another draft going. I want to. I promise you I want to get another draft, but I also want to get a draft going tomorrow. I want to get a draft going the next day. I want to get a draft going the next day. I want to get a draft going the next day. I'm probably going to do a draft tomorrow morning as well, just not on the live stream. So I got to save my entries into Best Ball Mania and save my voice as well. But please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like in this live stream, subscribe to the channel, and go sign up to Underdog Fantasy to get in a draft with us this offseason. Promo code FLOCK. Have some fun in your life. Links in the description, links in the live chat. I appreciate all y'all. Truly hope that y'all have a great night, and I hope I get to see you with the stream tomorrow.